I'll never get the car to work in time for the big race against my enemy. And I've been hammering all night and all day. When will things change for me? Vroom, vroom. Tough luck. I'm better off driving a 40-ton truck. Just go. Why try? This engine is fuming and so am I. My life is fast and furious, but I'm curious. Is there something more? The wheels are turning, but I've been swerving round what my heart beats for. When I'm speeding down the road going 95, it'd be nice to have a bro on the passenger side.
Good morning, Sweet World, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Tuesday, July 6th. Happy NBA Finals Day. I'm J.E. Skeets, rolling with the homie, Tass Mellis.
Best Fast and Furious ever, right there. unless he wants a bro in the passenger side of his car or in the other car driving beside him racing. Because if you have him in your passenger seat, just slowing you down, bro.
We also got my top shot hot boy, Trey Kirby.
Hey,
Yo, the international man of mystery, taking it to the max, Lee Ellis.
Friend.
And finally, the man making the magic happen is JD.
hello.
There he is. Here we are. First things first, shout out to the stream team for joining us live on YouTube. Take a quick second, smash that like button, subscribe to No Dunks on YouTube, and hey, leave a comment below the video. Defeat the algorithm. Keep sending in your questions and comments for the next Beach Steppin' podcast. Email them in, nodunks@theathletic.com. And go grab some No Dunks merch over at nodunks.com. The No Dunks NBA Finals collection. It's hot, and it's ready for Bucks and Suns fans. Go to nodunks.com. Before we get into setting up game one of the NBA Finals tonight, just a reminder, if you didn't catch yesterday's show because you were enjoying your holiday here in the States maybe, well, go check it out. It's our sort of mega finals preview. Dropped it on Monday. Hey, I even think it went up to Apple Podcasts in a timely fashion. So that was nice. Yeah, everybody's got this one. Go check that out. We make our predictions for the series and all that good stuff. But yeah, doing a little deeper dive, I guess, here with game one, guys. I got some questions for you. The first one, big news, Giannis is listed as doubtful for game one tonight of the NBA Finals. You missed him for the past two games with that hyperextended left knee. He is on the report as doubtful. So just the question, Tass, is either game one tonight or the series in general, can the Bucks do this? Can the Bucks defeat the Suns if Giannis were to never play in this thing?
Of course they can. Did you watch Game 5 and Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals? This team is playing together right now. I say that, but I also take a step back, and I'm going to say don't listen to me during these NBA Finals whatsoever, because I've been judicious. I've been sort of level-headed making my predictions the first three rounds, but now I'm just in movie mode. I want the best movie script, and I think the best movie script, what I'm following, what I'm digging right now is, Game 5, Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals, Giannis goes down, and Drew steps up, and Brooks steps up, and Chris Middleton steps up, and I just assume that they're going to play at the same level going into the finals, and they're going to ride, Giannis's coattails, whether he comes back or not, and at the end of it all, he's going to be on their shoulders, and they're going to lift him to the title. He's just going to be the decoy out there. Drew Holiday will be named Finals MVP, and they'll say, no. Giannis is our MVP. I mean, we just watched a Fast and Furious clip. This is about family. This is about team. This ain't about superstars. This is just about the best squad out there. So, yeah, I'm in that mode where I think that Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, and Brook Lopez are all going to play that same way that they did in Games 5 and Game 6. But don't listen to me, because I think the Phoenix Suns are the favorite on paper in basically every way right now. They have such a good matchup for Chris Middleton and Mikal Bridges. They have their own thing that they're playing for with Chris Paul. Obviously, Giannis is out. Just up and down the roster. I don't know if PJ Tucker can stop Devin Booker. So I think everything is in the Suns' corner. But I don't know. I think the best storyline, I just think that those guys can continue to play that way, but history says that won't happen. So listen, I don't know if anybody's got any news other than Giannis is doubtful tonight. So that's it. I mean, that's all you can go on, right? I mean, that's it. He could be back. He could be back tonight. Could be back in game 2. So that's it. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. They could win one game for sure, but all things point, Suns.
Yeah, the health here, his healthy, it's the biggest single factor in these finals. It's like whether he can return, when he returns, and if he returns, what type of Giannis is he? But same question. I mean, I think we all agree. Of course, they can win a game or two, but can they win a series if he were not play at all? What do you think?
Yeah, they can. I mean, it certainly is stacked up against them. They need everything else to go right for them. They need Brook Lopez to stay on the court. They need Drew Holiday to hit his shots. They need PJ Tucker to find his range again because he hasn't been shooting the ball all that well in the playoffs. He's been good since he came to the Bucks in the regular season, but it has taken a bit of a dip there in the playoffs. But if all those factors combine, then Milwaukee's a tough team. I mean, they've been to the playoffs before. They've had some heartbreak before as well. So you're coming up against a team that's a little bit more battle-tested in terms of playoffs in the overall experience than the Phoenix Suns, whereas the Phoenix Suns have pretty much cruised along. Things have gone very much to plan so far for them in the playoffs, and they've got relatively good health. I know Devin Booker he's probably got a little bit of vision problems still with that broken nose there, but otherwise the Suns are in a good spot. And I sometimes just think that you just never quite know how things are going to play. They never sort of follow the script, and certainly in game 1 when these teams both get a bit of a feel for each other, that's I think a really good chance here for the Bucks to steal one if they can. While the focus has sort of shifted, maybe the Suns are just a little bit nervous in front of their home fans because, again, I think when they made the playoffs, I think people were hoping, look, if we can get to the conference finals, that'll be a successful season. They've almost exceeded expectations throughout this whole season. So maybe that plays into it. But certainly you would feel more comfortable right now if you are the Suns because you have so many advantages. Talked about them yesterday. Home court advantage, health advantage, rest advantage, all those factors. And you've got Devin Booker, who's been playing fantastically well, shooting the ball well. Chris Paul has been waiting his entire career for this moment. So you think he's not going to let it slip. DeAndre Ayton as well. He's grown throughout these playoffs and a lot throughout this season. So the Suns have all the positives and all the momentum going their way, but you just have to play the game still. And the Bucks aren't going to be a walkover by any means. We know that they can defend well. We know they can score the ball. They just have to hope that all those things come together tonight. And everyone has a good game. We saw that against the Hawks in game 5. It was in Milwaukee. They all sort of blend together here, but all their starters contributed, sort of got in the high teens or 20s, and everyone played well. Everyone contributed and defended really well, and that's what Budenholzer has to do tonight. He hasn't got a deep rotation. He's probably only going to go 7, maybe 8 at a push there. Thanasis is going to run out there for 42 seconds at some point, but otherwise, they're already missing
family.
They're already missing, DiVincenzo, and I think they're going to feel that a little bit. I mean, he because he was a starter and he's not there, and Pat Connaughton, he's in and out a little bit. He's up and down. So, the Bucks don't have a big margin for error tonight. They have to be on their game from the start. But having not had Giannis for the last 2 games, at least they go into the game prepared, expecting him not to play. So they've at least had some familiarity. That's not going to be easy. But I don't think the Suns just walk all over the Bucks tonight or throughout the series, no matter if Giannis plays or not.
Yeah, Middleton talked about this in the press conferences yesterday. He said when Giannis is out there, a lot of times we can just give him the ball and let him go to work and let him orchestrate a lot of things out there. Without him, we got to do it by committee. And that's how they would have to approach this, right, TK? Now, the thing is, they won games 5 and 6 against the Hawks, though. The Suns team is way better. That's the huge difference here. They're just a better team because the Hawks were also banged up. Their own guy out one of those games, then he comes back and Trae Young not looking that well. Bogdanovich sort of all series long. So, they had their injuries as well, and no Hunter, of course. The Suns they're just a better team than the Atlanta Hawks. And I'm not trying to take the Hawks down a peg here, but that's just a fact, right?
Yeah, that's just a fact. I think the Bucks can win a game. I think they could win any single game of these 7 without Giannis, especially with the way we saw Middleton and Holiday playing in games 5 and 6. If they're going to go out there and give you 50 points combined and 15 assists, that's basically going to equal Chris Paul and Devin Booker from the Suns. Yeah, exactly. But that's only one game. I don't think over the course of a series that the Bucks are really going to stand a chance if Giannis doesn't play. The guy's an MVP 2 times in a row and a Defensive Player of the Year. He's one of the greats in the game, and obviously the Bucks would rather have him out there. But, with the backcourt playing pretty well in 5 and 6, I mean, the quality of competition, like you're saying, Skeets, is going to be a major step up. I feel like this is probably going to be the best defense that the Bucks have seen so far. You got Chris Paul is going to be getting into Drew Holiday. It's going to probably be Mikal Bridges, I would imagine, on Chris Middleton. But yeah, I mean, in a one game, anything could happen. You know, if Brook Lopez is going to be 1.0 Brook Lopez again, that's massive. He was huge in the Bucks' biggest win so far this series. 33 in that game 5 without Giannis, looking like an all-star. Had the huge block in game 7 against the Nets. Ayton has been great in the playoffs, though, so far. So that'll be a fun matchup to watch with those two. But the big thing is that the Bucks do play good defense, and that defense is going to stick around even if they don't have their free safety lurking back there and Giannis Antetokounmpo. But there's a reason the Suns have been beating these teams that have been hobbled a little bit here, because they're really good. So if you come in not playing your best, Phoenix is going to beat you.
Yeah, there are some similarities, it feels like, Tass, right, to the Suns just having played the Clippers, who are without their best guy, Kawhi Leonard, really on both ends of the floor. Now here's no Giannis. If he doesn't play tonight, if he doesn't play a couple games, I mean, hopefully he comes back at some point. But, they didn't roll over the Clippers. It took 6. But they got the job done because they're a damn good team, like Trey just said. And I just wonder, or I fear a little bit. Again, I thought Giannis was going to play. Hell, maybe he does. Maybe this is some gamesmanship here from the Bucks. I sort of doubt it that he goes tonight now with this doubtful listing. But it's just rough for Milwaukee, I think, to overcome, to win 4 out of 7 against a good, sort of deep Suns team that, has got a little lucky when it's come to the injuries in terms of matchups. Trailing the Lakers when Anthony Davis eventually goes down, obviously helped out with no Jamal Murray in the Nuggets series and then no Kawhi Leonard at all in the Clippers series. Like, why would that change, I guess, is what I'm getting at here, if Giannis doesn't really play for a good chunk of this.
Well, for sure. For the whole series, yes. But game 1, I think there is a little bit of a rest versus rest factor. The Suns have been off just chilling while the Bucks are still in their flow and should have a bit more, just a flow in their offense than the Suns do. I mean, you go back to last series, the Suns also had a rest versus rest factor. They keep getting lots of time off because they're, they won 2 series in 6 games, but they also had a sweepy in there. So coming off that Nuggets sweep, they had some time off. And then Devin Booker scored 40 in that game 1 against the Clippers. But that was without Chris Paul. And I think that's a big factor, that Devin Booker had the ball in his hands a ton. And that's the matchup I'm watching big time, is Devin Booker versus PJ Tucker. I think they'll put PJ on him, who's definitely slower. But aside from that game 1 in that series against the Clippers, Devin Booker was low-key just okay. He shot 38% from the floor, 28% from 3 overall, and that was with a monstrous game 1. So with Chris Paul beside him, plus that injury that bothered him, he didn't have an incredible series. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. I mean, again, if we step back, the Suns have so many advantages in this series. I do think Mikal Bridges is the best defender that Chris Middleton's going to see over an entire series. I do think DeAndre Ayton is the best center that they've seen over this whole playoffs. Bam Adebayo wasn't even close to being the Bam Adebayo level guy. So that's going to be scary for them on the inside. Again, it's movie script for me, man. I just don't think that the Phoenix Suns should lose this game or should lose this series, even with the way things are looking with Giannis's injury. But I'm just riding the high of the end of the series for the Bucks there. So yeah, I'm feeling sort of what Lee was saying there going into game 1. Just keep up that flow, Brooke, Drew, Chris. You can't sit back and you can't relax, obviously. If Giannis is out, so they got to play that same way, even if Giannis steps on the floor. And storybook would be Giannis is on the floor, but he's a decoy, and everybody just working magic around him. It's a little Willis Reed. It's a little kicking ass in terms of the supporting cast. Can they do that again? That's really the huge question for the Bucks. Can Drew, Brooke, and Chris Middleton continue this, even though they don't really have the matchup advantages from the Eastern Conference Finals to the finals against a better team? Like you guys said, it's hard to do for an extended period of time. We saw down at the Fortress, you guys were at game 4, the Hawks did it without Trae Young. The Bucks then did it in games 5 and game 6. They got home court, then they did in game 6. But how long can you keep that up if your superstar is not around? That's just tough.
Yeah, it feels a little bit, Lee, like the 2019 finals, where there was a giant question mark just hanging over it. It was like you're playing Super Mario Brothers, and there's a giant block with the question mark on it. And that was when or if Kevin Durant will come back in that finals. And then this one is the exact same thing, really, with Giannis. And again, if he comes back, what type of Giannis is it? Because I think we're sort of forgetting, or at least I am, maybe I was yesterday. It's like, he can't come back, and he's not like James Harden, where he's like, he's a shooter and he can operate and facilitate. Like, my point is, he's got a hyperextended knee. The way this guy plays, my God, that is not a good injury to have. Let's say a guy that just attacks, so much torque on that leg. Heaven forbid he were to come back and then hurt it again, like happened to, of course, KD. But it's this just like when and if and how he'll look is all we're going to be talking about, I think, unfortunately, until ultimately maybe he's out there.
Yeah, and if you look at James Harden and even Trae Young, we could tell just by looking at them that they weren't 100% healthy. And I think it'll be the same with Giannis. If he can't sort of get into the paint and slalom past the defenders for those layups that he likes, that'll be a fairly obvious sign that he's probably shouldn't be out there. If it's one of those situations where, it's the finals, it's a game, whatever. So he is playing. If it was a regular season game, he's probably out for at least a month here. So I just hope that the Bucks do, make the right decision and don't and look at what happened with Kevin Durant and don't just say, look, let's just throw him out there and see what we can get out of him, because that ultimately was the wrong decision. And Kevin Durant suffered what has been for other players a career-ending injury. Now he's obviously recovered from it, but just that word hyperextended knee, and we all saw that injury. Like, I'm shocked that he's even sort of considered a questionable at this point, because it was one of those ones that looked ugly, and we've certainly seen guys miss significant time after that. But whatever the case, Giannis has been waiting for his basketball life to get to this point, so he's going to be trying to do everything he can to get healthy. But if he's not 100%, then the Bucks are just better off waiting until he can at least get out there and can move as freely as he can, because otherwise, it's potentially a detriment to the team as well if he's in some way, not able to contest shots and to be used in the offense as much as he normally is. So it's a bummer. There's no doubt about it, like it was with Kevin Durant, because you want to see the best players competing for the finals. But I also don't think that the Milwaukee Bucks are going into this like expecting people to feel sorry for them or anything like this. It'll be that sort of underdog mentality where they get galvanized. Everyone's writing us off. Everyone's picking the Phoenix Suns. Maybe this is our chance to go up and sort of surprise the Suns and get a victory. So that's what you hope for. And you do know that they are going to compete. Bridges, if he's on Middleton, definitely he's been a good defender. But Chris Middleton's shown when he gets cooking, especially against the Hawks there, he can be very, very difficult to stop. So the Bucks need a Chris Middleton third or fourth quarter tonight. They need that for at least 2 or 3 quarters, I think, really, to get themselves into it. But Drew Holiday, quietly, he can go out there and get you 25 or 30 points, put some pressure on Devin Booker or Chris Paul, whoever's on him on the defensive end. And that's where the Bucks just have to perform. They have to get all those star players, those veteran players, to go out there and just keep the pressure on the Phoenix defense and just see if there is a crack in that in Phoenix, if this stage is one step too many. I mean, again, it certainly favors Phoenix. Everything is in their corner right now, but you just never know what could happen in one game. And if the Bucks win tonight, then then the series is really alive. So let's hope we get at least that first game where it's like, man, the Bucks are going to be a battle in this series and are going to fight no matter what, even if Giannis isn't playing at all.
I just want to jump in here with Jared Greenberg's line on Giannis Antetokounmpo working out the last couple of days. This is from Jared Greenberg of NBA TV. He said, quote, Giannis Antetokounmpo was working out at a private gym in front of a, quote, an army of observers to determine if he'll be able to play in game 1 of the NBA Finals. He has progressed significantly and will fight tooth and nail to be in the lineup. Gotta love it. I mean, it is interesting, like how good he's going to look, because you saw when KD was in those warm-ups, game 5 of that Raptors series, he looked amazing. Then that first quarter, he looked amazing. But obviously came back a little bit too soon. So yeah, that's the thing with Giannis. I mean, the game 5 and game 6 bought him a few days, but to me, it's not the same type of injury at all. But what the heck do I know? Anyway, let's just hope he's healthy when he comes back. And even if he's a decoy out there, I think, again, like I said yesterday, you kind of need those reps for him. to get through it, to see if they're going to win this series, because he's not going to have a great game when he comes back. But if you're going to win the series, you're going to have to get him into Giannis mode, and I think that's going to take a couple of games.
That's my only. I just want to push back on like the decoy angle. I just don't think it works for a guy like Giannis because it's one thing. I mean, Trae Young, Harden again, like KD, of course. You got to respect that they're still shot makers and they can hit a shot from the outside. So you can actually use them as a decoy. You can put them somewhere on the floor, and you still got to respect the hell out of it because they're shooters. And it's like you really can't do that with Giannis because he can't shoot to that extent. I mean, he can bang home the odd three every once in a while, but of course he's not on their level of those guys I just listed. So that's the fascinating part. I think he's got to be good enough to go and then be the Giannis where he's attacking, and the ability to get to the rim to set up other guys. But maybe they know something I don't. And maybe this is all, again, I don't think it is Trae, but maybe this is they are playing a little coy here. And we see him suddenly starting tonight, and they just didn't want to let the Suns know that.
I get that he can't
keeping
shoot
it under their hats. Maybe I get
that he can't shoot, but you kind of have to keep some attention to him, especially in game one where you're trying to feel things out. Like he is the MVP. So you just have to keep some eyes on him. So that opens up space to me. I understand you're playing off him a bit, but you also have a really good ass defender on him that wouldn't be on somebody else. And you have to pay some attention to him.
Well, the last I checked, the Suns right now for game one are 5.5 point favorites, Lilies. I've seen it up to 6.5, but anywhere within 5.5 to 6.5, they're favorites to win game one. I'm sure a big part of that is the Giannis question mark, but I wanted to dig a little deep here this morning, hit up BetMGM and find some game one player props. And I just want to know for all of you guys, is there one you got your eye on here? You know, would you like to call up my buddy Grish and make a friendly bet with one of these player props you got?
I didn't go to BetMGM. I went to BetCAM, BetCam. I want to know what Big Cam's got here. So
he's got everything. That's the answer.
Wizards and Warlocks. What? That's not even on the board, Cam.
Well, I like the props because it does give you a little bit of interest that doesn't necessarily affect the outcome of the game, which is great. And so the one I looked at, and I sort of addressed it a little bit there earlier, PJ Tucker, since he joined the Bucks, was shooting really well from three, 39% in 20 regular season games. But in 17 playoff games, he's only at 29% and only 23% in that last series against the Hawks. But I think it's precisely the right time to get in on PJ Tucker and go heavy on him tonight, because to be the Bucks' first basket, he's plus 800, plus 1,600 for the total games first basket, and an even juicier plus 3,000 if that first basket is a three-pointer. Now, this is PJ Tucker. PJ Tucker in the corner. Where's he playing tonight? He's playing in Phoenix. He knows this court. He knows this arena, and this is how I can see it playing out. I think Brook Lopez wins the tip. I think the Bucks gaining that first possession. All the Suns defense is going to be focused straight on Middleton, then Drew Holiday. PJ just going to be waiting in the corner, ready to cash in. If that play gets a little bit broken, bit of a fumble, it goes out to PJ in the corner. That's his spot. He knows. He had a huge three actually against the Hawks in Game 6. It was the only one that he hit, but it was at precisely the right time. So I think tonight is a great time to go heavy. PJ Tucker, first basket of the game.
Oh, my God. Okay.
It's a three-pointer.
Okay.
That's going to get you plus 3,000, whatever you want to invest on that. I think that's the way to do. That's the way to go. Jump on PJ Tucker.
Okay, PJ Tucker is going to start the scoring of the NBA Finals with a three, very likely in the corner. Is what
it's definitely it's in the corner. That's for sure. I just think Brook again. I think he's going to win the tip, so the Bucks get first possession.
Yeah. Okay.
So
okay. I mean, Ayton's got some hops there. He's springy for a big guy. You never know what the tip is. Tacit's right.
You can tell that the nightly watching schedule has slowed down a bit here. We got Skeets watched Fast and Furious last night, talking about the torque on Giannis's leg. Meanwhile, Lee is pulling out Uncut Gems era prop bets here, calling the tip and the first play. But like you're saying, Brent Barry wrote the song PJ Tucker's open in the corner during his time in Phoenix. Lee, this is a great pick here, actually. I think, like you're saying, you get plus 3,000 on whatever your units are.
Be making mad money. We'd be able to buy a nice car there, Lee, for hit race wars in the desert. Yes. The Fast and the Furious podcast, like binge watch. It is happening, guys. You got all the time in the world. We started watching them now. They're not going to release until early August, so you've got some weeks here to start banking your watches of Fast and Furious. And man, I got a whole lot of thoughts about the first one. I can't wait to podcast about it. But okay, Lee's got PJ Tucker going a little differently than I thought. Tass, is there one, over under point scored, assist, whatever, stuff like that, or something else that you're watching for in game one? Player prop bet.
I didn't go to a juicy parlay like Lee. It's a lot more fun for sure.
Yep.
I went simpleton. I went with Brook Lopez over 1.5 blocks.
Okay.
It's a low number because he's had 3 and 4 in his last 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, those didn't have Giannis Antetokounmpo in them, but he has to do more on defense when Giannis is either injured or just not playing at all. So, whether or not Giannis plays, I think Brook is up for it. He's playing really, really well. The first possession of the last game, he blocked Kevin Huerter, sort of in the mid-range.
Yeah.
This is a massive man, but he can really move his feet. And we all know where Chris Paul shoots from. Chris Paul always gets space in that mid-range, but Brook's willing to go out there. I could see him blocking a shot from Chris Paul out there. Now, they don't necessarily have a lot of drivers on the Phoenix Suns, but Devin Booker does get in there at times. I think Brook will be up for the task. I mean, he's going to be relied upon a lot on both ends. So I think that's a decent bet.
2 blocks. That's all you're looking for from Brook Lopez, and then you're hitting it. Yeah, that's not about. I mean, he's fascinating in this series. Like whether he can actually even be on the court, because they got destroyed in game 1 from Trae Young because they did their ultimate drop coverage where Brook stays back, and that's how they usually play defense. And then he dropped 48 on them, and they're like, oh, we better switch this up. And as that series went on and on, they did. They just started switching it a whole lot more, and Brook did a really good job, like you said, Tass, of starting to stay in front or at least challenge some of these the guards on the Hawks players. And can you do the same with the Suns? Because they're going to be running pick and rolls. And you got Ayton, screaming behind you and lobbing to the net. So, yeah, I could see Brook having a monster series, but at the same time, I could also see him being played off the floor because of just the matchup problem, and then the Bucks having to go small maybe to stick with it. But we will see. Okay, 2 blocks so for Brook Lopez in game 1. Trey, what do you got for your player prop bet?
I like Devin Booker over 32.5 combined points and assists.
Oh, yeah.
Seems like a big number. He's 30-plus points in 7 of 17 playoff games so far, I think. 5+ assists in 8 of those 17 games, and we've seen already in this playoffs 2 massive game 1s from Devin Booker. 34 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists in his first ever playoff game against the Lakers. Very nice. And then obviously that classic 40 points, 13 rebounds, and 11 assists. He's got the skills. He's got the talent. He shows up in these big games. And another thing is that I think he's going to have the most offense forward matchup here amongst the backcourt guys, because Chris Paul, Jrue Holiday, they're probably guarding each other. Jrue, I suppose, could either be on CP3 or Devin Booker. Middleton's guarding the other guy, but Booker can kind of hide somewhere because Mikal Bridges is around. He'll probably take Middleton just so you can save Booker's legs a little bit here. Mm-hmm. That frees him up on offense. And like you're saying, Skeets, the Bucks in general come out in a drop coverage. And if you're doing that against the Phoenix Suns, it's either going to be Chris Paul or Devin Booker getting into that mid-range. I'm thinking Booker has a little bit better matchup to exploit. So give me a big game from Devin Booker tonight. I like your pick for him as Finals MVP. He's kind of where I'm leaning as well.
Yeah, I'm on this same wavelength here with you as a game 1 player prop. I just went points. Devin Booker, I saw 28.5. I think he hits 30 points tonight, so that would be my bet. But I've lost the last 2 pick 'em payoffs. And still owe those during the summer, by the way. So take my bet with a grain of salt. Okay, final question here. What's one specific thing you're watching for in tonight's game? Be it a specific X and O's is what I'm trying to say, or a specific matchup. Trey, what do you got?
I got a bunch of things I'm going to watch for. Here's a few minor things. Who's going to do the anthem at the first finals game in Phoenix since 1993? Went on Wikipedia, found their most famous musical artists, because Golden State had Carlos Santana play, like a Bay Area legend. So could be Alice Cooper, could be Jimmy Eat World, could be CeCe Peniston, could be Dirks Bentley, all Arizona legends. Alice Cooper would personally be my pick. That would be very cool.
He did halftime in the conference finals.
There we go. Okay, another.
He was killing it. Oh man, killing
he was already dead. Killing
70
it. 70
plus.
School's out for summer. School's out for summer. Also interested to see, are the Suns going to be the first team to wear orange jerseys in the finals? Probably not in game one. My guess, they're going with the Valley jerseys. They look good.
Yeah.
As for actual basketball stuff, how are the Bucks going to play defense? Because the big decision for Big Bud is Jrue Holiday. The Suns have two great guards. There's only one Jrue. Is he going to guard Chris Paul or is he going to guard Devin Booker? You're going to be missing Dante DiVincenzo. That's a low-key important injury here, I think, for the Bucks, just because his athleticism on the perimeter would at least allow one of those guys to take a break, because you're asking for major two-way performances from both Holiday and Middleton. And the next question from that is playing that drop coverage that the Bucks like to do. That's the standard for them. They tried it on Trae Young, like you're saying, Skeets, and he just destroyed it. But once Brooke stepped up a little bit more on the pick and roll, once they switched a little bit more, and once Jrue Holiday kind of got into Trae Young, things changed, but that opens up the offensive glass for Ayton. It's such a cat and mouse game, having players who are versatile defenders who actually have to guard versatile offensive players. It's a lot of interesting stuff's going to be happening. Most likely the Bucks come out, play it standard, and everybody's saying, why won't Mike Budenholzer adjust? Why won't this guy adjust? Then by the end of the series, we're talking about, oh, he actually played all of his guys, like 48 minutes a game. He played only 6 guys. It's fine. He adjusts eventually. Sometimes it just takes a while.
Okay, lots to watch there from TK. What about you, Tass? Anything to add?
Well, yeah, I'm really interested in Devin Booker's matchup. I understand, shooting guard, but I think they try and throw PJ Tucker at him. It's going to be tough for PJ Tucker to stick with Devin Booker, but that is absolutely their best matchup decision. I think their best option is what I'm trying to say, especially because at finals practice, PJ Tucker was wearing Devin Booker's PE. He was wearing his Kobe PE, his player exclusive shoe there. This guy is wearing the shoe of an opponent in finals practice. I mean, he's really thinking this through. I think he wants to get in there on Booker. Otherwise, PJ Tucker is not doing much on the floor if he's guarding Jay Crowder or Mikal Bridges. I mean, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me to have him out there. Other than winning, your player prop and hitting a shot in the corner, I would take him off the floor unless he's guarding Devin Booker. So I think that's going to be his job tonight. Get into Devin Booker's shoes.
Lee, what about you? What are you watching for tonight?
Whether or not the Bucks can survive when Budenholzer has to go to like a Jeff Teague for a handful of minutes up against someone like a Campaign, who Campaign has been really good for the Phoenix Suns in the playoffs. He's younger, he's quicker, his game has just improved so much for a guy who was out of the league. Now, Jeff Teague actually had a decent game 6. Got to be fair to him in Atlanta. Hit some big threes. Other than that, he hasn't really done anything in the playoffs, and I think largely because Budenholzer really, can't really trust him out there for too long. But if you can get Game 6 Jeff Teague, like a Game 6 Klay Thompson,
Game 6.
but I think that's going to be some crucial minutes there for the Bucks, because Budenholzer has certainly been playing his stars more, but he needs to be able to buy, throughout the game, sort of somewhere between 5 to 8 to 10 minutes of Jrue Holiday sitting down and resting, or if he gets in foul trouble or anything like that. And that's when the Suns' second unit, Torrey Craig has been really good as well coming off the bench, but Campaign has been the real star of that team. He really pushes the pace. He can hit the 3 as well. And those could be some really crucial minutes. So I think, with the starters and the star players, we know we're going to see, the Bucks obviously going to go heavy to Chris Middleton, try to get him going. Chris Paul, I expect to probably take over a little bit more than we've seen, and a little bit earlier, perhaps just because we know he can get that mid-ranger going anytime he wants. But it could be that, those crucial minutes could only be sort of to end a quarter or to start a quarter. But that could be where the game could sort of get out of hand if the Bucks don't keep themselves, under control in that moment. So if you trust Jeff Teague from Game 6, you're probably feeling okay. If you think that was a bit of an anomaly, you're probably feeling that he's got a short leash tonight if he's out there.
I was at the Fortress for Game 6, and people in the crowd were screaming anybody but Jeff Teague. That's what they were. I mean, that was that felt cruel. Jeff Teague was like playing really well and hitting big shots against the Hawks in a do or die game there. But yeah, he was good, and like I think that can still same what you're saying, Lee, is like maybe that's Forbes hits a couple threes. Right. It's like you're saying, these spot minutes, there's not going to be a ton to go around, especially if Giannis is out and then Bobby Portis is getting a ton of minutes. It's like, who just delivers? And that's what happens in the finals. That's what makes them actually really fun. It's like, the stars for the most part sort of can come through generally consistently. It's like, where are these is there a Torrey Craig game, for crying out loud, at some point in these finals, like the revenge game there, and then I can bring back my cash considerations joke, and you guys can laugh a little harder this time. It'll be great. We'll find out. 9 o'clock, they're telling us, of course, on ABC tonight. All 9 o'clock starts Eastern time. But what's the bullseye tip, Trey Kirby? Like, what are we saying for a finals game? We sticking to 9, 15, 16, 17 is a little faster because it's a later start. Where are we going with the bullseye tip?
Bullseye tip, 9:09.
9:09.
9:09.
I don't know. That's Tass. Well, you got a bullseye tip prediction?
I think Alice Cooper is going to be holding his notes. Yeah, give me a 9:13, 9:14. I don't want you to miss the start of Game 3, Skeets. Sunday, Game 3, 8 Eastern start.
Oh, excuse me. Okay, good correction. I thought I saw
everybody likes to go to sleep early.
You're right. Sunday.
On Sundays.
You're right. Sunday, a little early start. Okay, so we got Game 1 here Tuesday, Game 2 on Thursday, Game 3 that earlier start on Sunday night. Is that correct, Tess?
Yeah,
and then do we have the dumb, stupid break, and Game 4 is not till Wednesday?
I think it's 3 days after that for every game, I believe. Because they want the Game 7 on a Sunday if it gets to that point.
Oh, right. Must have a Game 7 on a Sunday.
I love talking dates. I love talking dates with you guys. Got to correct you again.
No.
Game 7's on a Thursday.
Really?
There you go. They don't love it that much.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, you know what, though? I will say, okay, you're right. But I'd say because they pulled this 2 days ahead, that's why then maybe that's shifted ahead.
You just said hashtag, well, actually, Tass.
Because I know the schedule used to be Thursday, Sunday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Sunday. That's what it used to be.
Look at this guy. He knows his dates. Okay,
you got to know the TV deals, how they work. You know, they don't like the Friday night or the Monday, but it's worth it if you get the Sunday 7.
God damn, you're right. And this thing's going 7. We're getting Thursday nights, Game 7.
And as the people in the stream team are mentioning, this is actually low-key a big series for Alice Cooper because apparently he's an Arizona guy, but he's very famous for saying Milwaukee.
Oh, yeah.
Wayne's World. So it's going to be interesting to see who Alice Cooper's pulling for tonight. Can you imagine Alice Cooper wearing a basketball jersey? That just seems very weird to me.
Well, along those lines, who's Eric Bledsoe cheering for in this series? Didn't want to be in Phoenix. They didn't want him in Milwaukee. Jeez. I mean, yikes. Which one do you go, Lee? Like, what's he cheering for?
I guess he's probably going for the Bucks, I suppose. I mean,
maybe he's maybe more of a connection with those guys.
But they traded him away because they said you're not good enough.
Yeah, that's tough.
Who else? Must have been a few other Bucks and Suns crossovers over the years. PJ Tucker for one. There's one.
I think there's actually quite a bit that I can't think of any right now. But there are.
What about Robin Lopez? Is he cheering for the Suns, his former team, or his also former team and brother / adversary?
Yeah. I think he's going for the Suns, actually, Robin. I think
probably so.
Let's get that poll up at some point today, TK. Who's Eric Bledsoe cheering for in the NBA final? I think that's a funny question. All right, let's take a quick break and then we'll get to Is This News?
Remember we used to get juiced up on all those really high sugary cereals that just made everyone go crazy before school?
Oh, yeah.
Good thing about Magic Spoon is that's not the case. They have 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving. Only 140 calories as well in each serving. You're going to sweat that out in the playground here in like 2 minutes. Keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, low-carb, and GMO-free. Build your own box too, because you've got flavors that you can custom bundle: cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter, blueberry, and cinnamon. Go to magicspoon.com/nodunks and grab a custom bundle of cereal and try it today. And be sure to use our promo code NODUNKS at checkout to save $5 off your order. Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. They won't even say, oh, why didn't you like it? You want to try this? You want about that one? No, you say, don't like it, give me my money back, bang. Fire all your money back in your hand. Or probably, electronic, but you know what I'm saying. Remember, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/nodunks and use the code NODUNKS to save $5 off. Thank you, Magic Spoon, for sponsoring this episode.
So, guys, I just bought a house, and I bought this house that I'm in now before I sold my old house. So I had to get a bridge loan for that. Ugh, terrible feeling. Just going around from bank to bank. Your hat is in your hand. Bank, please loan me money. I'm good for it. Here's all my personal information. Here's the latest results of my latest colonoscopy. Here, I promise, I'll pay you back. Not gonna lie, I got denied a few times. Here's a tip. Don't just show up at a bank with a top hat in your hand asking to borrow money. It's a terrible strategy. Here's another tip. Try Credit Karma. Credit Karma's game-changing technology shows you tailored offers for credit cards and personal loans that you're more likely to be approved for, so you can apply with more confidence. Whether you want cashback travel rewards or to consolidate debt, Credit Karma can help you find the offers that fit your goals. With a selection of options and approval odds, you have the power to make informed decisions. Go to creditkarma.com/podcast to learn more and find offers tailored just for you. That's creditkarma.com/podcast, or you can see your offers on the Credit Karma app. Apply with confidence today. Go to creditkarma.com/podcast or the Credit Karma app.
Back to No Dunks. Before we get to Is This News, I just saw this tweet come through from @RyanThomasCody. He said, breaking, Fernando the Sloth at the Phoenix Zoo picks the Suns to win the NBA Finals. #Rally the Valley. Yes, Fernando the Sloth. Lee. Yep. What do you think about that, Lee? What do you think about sloths in general?
Yeah, these things often come out, before a World Cup or the Euro. Yep. Some animal just sort of like gravitates towards something, and people like to sort of think that's a sign, that's going to mean something. I've got a hint for you. It means nothing.
Oh, wow.
Of course, they're just going to make the sloth pick that one. So,
Oh, they made the sloth. You think they had a gun to the sloth's head?
I think they said, sloths, you want to get fed for the rest of this week? Then make sure you pick the Suns. So,
damn. Wow.
A sloth. I mean, how inspirational is a sloth out
I know.
there?
It's like, when did they start this? Did they have to go to the start of the postseason and he eventually made his way over to the Phoenix? Yeah. I don't know. But thank you to at Ryan Thomas Cody and for a couple people sending that our direction. Okay, let's get to Is This News? Is This News? Few headlines. First one. This is why we do Is This News, Lee. The Hawks make Nate McMillan permanent head coach. Is this news?
It's not really news now, but when he took over, when the Atlanta Hawks were 14-20, I think it probably would have been news back then, because if it wasn't a formality once they made the playoffs that Nate was probably going to be re-signed, it certainly was confirmed when they beat the Knicks in that first round. I think at that point, there was certainly no question the Hawks could not give Nate McMillan at least first chance or first right of refusal for the job going forward from here. I think he's done a fantastic job. And I'm for one who said, look, I think the Hawks made a bad mistake by firing Lloyd Pierce, but that has proven to not be the case at all. Travis Schlenk made the decision. I'm sure it wasn't easy. And Nate McMillan was right there. And Nate McMillan turned this team around and went from a team that was, probably looking at the play-in tournament at best to leading the Eastern Conference Finals, the first time they've ever done that in their history. So at that point, Nate really just had to agree on a figure. And I think it was a 4-year deal. I think that's what Wojnarowski reported yesterday. So congratulations to Nate McMillan. He gets another chance here. And I think you could see too, again, it was only a small sample size, but a very successful one. He really seemed to connect with his players. And one of the things he said after a game recently was like, if a player made a mistake, old Nate would really get on someone in film session the next day, he'd really sort of, call out a guy or make a point about, how upset he was with something. He said he's mellowed, he's learned from that, and he realizes you have to communicate better. And, people make mistakes, players make mistakes, but communication is much stronger when you don't necessarily react right after a game when the emotions are running better or higher, when you've had time to sleep on it, look at it, and then you can approach things like that. He seems to think that players respond better in that situation. So, he's learned. He's coached in Seattle, in Portland, in Indiana, and now he gets a chance here in Atlanta to build on the foundation that he's made of the sort of second half of the season and the playoffs. So congratulations to him. And I think it was a pretty obvious move here for the Hawks to make.
Yeah, I think, wasn't it Schlenk that said we offered him a deal at the start of the playoffs, and ultimately he waited a little bit and maybe got himself some more money in the process. Who knows, Tass? But is this newsworthy to you, or a surprise at all?
Well, it's newsworthy that coaching matters. Some people just think that coaching doesn't matter at all. This is, to me, just shows relationships and motivation and the influence a guy can have, because it's not so much about the talent that the Hawks had and just making that a bigger priority or somehow finding, the skills that guys had on that roster. It was just about the relationships, from all the reports when Lloyd Pierce was fired to now. You can just see how this guy has connected, how Nate has connected with so many of his players, to a point where a guy like Cam Reddish, who came out in this conference finals, had a little bit of a showcase there. He's going to play in Summer League. He said he was going to play in Summer League a long time ago. A second-year guy, I think, could skip Summer League easily. But I think, that type of effect Nate McMillan has had with, obviously, starting with Trae Young, up and down the roster. They just love the guy. And I think that was what was lacking in Lloyd Pierce's department. I love Lloyd Pierce, and that was the issue, it seemed like. I mean, the locker room just wasn't with him. But then when they moved on, again, it wasn't just about talent. It was about a belief in Nate McMillan. So that's what they have going forward. This team is working really hard for that dude. I think when it comes to the start of camp, obviously they're led by Trae Young, but they have a real relationship with this coach, and so coaching matters. That connection about getting the most out of guys. Nate has done that, obviously.
Now that McMillan's contract is settled, Trey, what do you think the Hawks' biggest offseason priority is? What's next on Travis Schlenk's list?
Well, next on the list is figuring out exactly what to do with John Collins. We've seen him during regular seasons be, a 20-10-ish kind of guy, on the fringes maybe of making an all-star game, but it feels like he made himself even more invaluable during the postseason just by competing defensively and really slipping into glue guy mode, doing whatever the Hawks need to win. So he's got his restricted free agency over the summer. Trae Young, Kevin Huerter, Clint Capella, their deals are up after next season. Then after that, it's DeAndre Hunter and Cam Reddish. Suddenly a team that this season, 25th in payroll, is going to get really expensive.
Yeah.
And you got to wonder, if you're the Hawks, how much do you buy into this season, right? You went to the conference finals, but it's your first time in the playoffs for a long, long time. They took advantage of the 76ers and Ben Simmons kind of melting down there in the playoffs. Obviously, the Nets weren't at full strength. They barely lost to the Bucks team that didn't have Giannis. So is this really a conference finalist team? Or do you kind of get into the Blazers situation where you make your conference finals when things line up perfectly for you, and then suddenly your team a few years later, you're like, did we go all in with the wrong people? I think the Hawks need another star alongside Trae Young as well. Perhaps Cam Reddish becomes that guy. Perhaps DeAndre Hunter becomes that guy. But this is a major market with a young star and a team that is upwardly mobile with young pieces around them. The Hawks should be trying to get, I don't know if Ben Simmons is the right fit for them. I don't know if it's Bradley Beal, but the Hawks are going to need a second guy.
Right.
To compete in the Eastern Conference from here on out. And I don't necessarily know that it's on the roster right now. And I think it's easy to look at the surprising season that you had now, and you got to be compared to a conference finalist team from here on out, because anything else is going to be looked at as a disappointment. So it's going to be interesting to see if the Hawks kind of, smash the gas on their rebuild here. They did a little bit last summer, bringing in Gallinari and Bogdanovic, but those guys are still high-end role players rather than second stars alongside Trae Young. You need 2 stars to win in this league at the very least.
Well, you brought up Ben Simmons, and that's he's involved in our next headline here. This coming from Clutch Points. Oh, it's been so long. The Sixers' Daryl Morey purchases Ben Simmons' top shot moment amid trade rumors. Now, I wanted to show you this the graphic, because that's where Clutch Points really comes through. Here it is for everybody joining us on the stream team or watching on YouTube. I don't know why I love this so much with the Bitcoin there in the back. But anyway, Trey, is this news? Morey purchasing a very expensive Ben Simmons hollow top shot moment there amid the trade rumors. Like, what does this mean? Are they keeping him? Is he trying to include the top shot moment in a potential trade with another team? Like, what do you think?
I don't think that Daryl Morey probably paid in Bitcoin would be my first guess on this, but I'm not totally sure. Is this news? Yeah, this is hilarious news, because if you thought tracking social media likes and follows was sicko mode in the summer, how about a current GM collecting his team's players on the blockchain with total transparency? Daryl Morey, a smart guy. He knows that people can see those transactions on the blockchain. So not only does he get the joy of riling up the internet, maybe it makes it seem a little bit more like the Sixers could run it back with Ben Simmons. This is not dissimilar to me to responding like when somebody asked him, can Joel Embiid win the MVP this year? He's like, yeah, I actually think we got 2 players who could win the MVP. Also, Ben Simmons. When you're a GM, you got to be pumping at all time. And I wonder if Daryl Morey sees a little Ben Simmons in this Ben Simmons moment, because this is an excellent buy low candidate by Daryl Morey. There's only 28 of these hollow reward moments for Ben Simmons, one of the most rare moments on all of Top Shot. Harrison Barnes bought this exact same moment for $16,000 in mid-April. So maybe Daryl Morey's pulling a Ben Simmons with Ben Simmons, bringing him in as a buy low candidate, flipping the trade value once it gets higher.
Wow, yeah, he paid $4,444, I believe, for this one, Lee. He got a deal compared to Harrison Barnes, I guess. But I was fascinated to find out whether Lee thought this was news at all. Do you even know what's going on?
No. But the way I read this is that Daryl Morey has had a couple of offers come through, and he's like dismissive of those.
Yep.
Now he goes out and buys this as a sort of show of support. Listen, I believe in Ben. I'm not just going to trade him for the sake of trading him. And this is how I'm trying to show Ben, publicly as well. Like, we've got your back here, Ben. We believe in you. We believe you're going to become a better player.
Right.
What he's hoping then, someone's like, yeah, man, Daryl Morey, he's not going to give Ben Simmons away for a snip. So we have to, we're going to have to really juice these trade offers.
Sure.
Then he's going to start working the teams off against each other. And then he's going to trade Ben Simmons for some huge
So it's
cachet.
all part of a master plan.
Exactly. This is exactly, I mean, Daryl Morey is a very smart guy. He really likes to work the angles here. And I think this is just his way of playing that sort of those mind games with all those other teams. He's like, Ben Simmons is still a great player. I'm not just going to give this guy away. If you want him, you're going to have to pay up. You're going to have to pay up Bitcoin type money. Whatever the hell that means.
Can Daryl Morey, you just like, talking this through out loud here, like, would Daryl Morey be fined for tampering, Trey, if he actually went and got like a Bradley Beal hollow moment, or, who? CJ McCollum?
That's a great question, Steve, because if you look at Daryl Morey's profile, which if you go to NBA Top Shot, it's the first one listed. Like, he's the first certified baller, very easy to find. Right next to the Ben Simmons moment, CJ McCollum, handles moment, appears to have been gifted to Daryl Morey by somebody else, which is very funny if people are just sliding into his Top Shot account and gifting him the moments of players they want him to acquire.
Right.
As somebody in the stream team said, this is a little bit of insider trading here from Daryl Morey. He knows something's going to be happening with Ben Simmons at some point. What does he know? What does he know?
Daryl Morey got fined for that tweet. When Steph Curry in the playoffs,
well, that's what I mean.
Said, light it up, Seth, and he said, come join him or whatever. He got fined for that, and he had to issue an apology or a sort of a clarification. So Daryl Morey, he's now reaching a point where it's like, I wonder if the NBA can somehow sort of tie this to tampering. I think he's just testing them. He's testing the front office.
I think you're right. Like, can a current GM, let's say Morey on the Sixers, can he buy a CJ McCollum? Can he make a custom Sixers McCollum jersey and then tweet a photo of it. Or like, no way.
He is banned from ordering custom jerseys for 29 other teams.
Right. But this is, this is maybe a loophole here that he's testing. I think
exactly. If it's not in the CBA, then when we saw him a few weeks ago,
Top Shot's in the CBA, but
when we saw him
next one.
When we saw him a few weeks ago, we talked about that contract that he offered Nene, which was like really sort of geared towards just being able to trade him, and he's like, I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't break any laws. But the NBA, kind of like in the Chris Paul sort of trade veto deal, it was kind of like the NBA said, you just can't do that, though. You can't do that contract. And he's like, why not? You've got to change the rules, and it's not in the rules.
Right.
So he's going to keep on testing those boundaries, which is great. This is perfect.
When does the CBA come up? Because I can guarantee that NFT clause will be inserted.
Oh, for sure.
You're right. Because smart employers are already doing that.
They're all over it.
NFT clauses right into contracts. I don't know if you can make amendments to the CBA. So I don't know. I don't know if that'll be a point of conversation in Vegas, perhaps.
Maybe.
Board of Governors. Let's set this down. We got to make money on this. All right.
Yeah. Ben Simmons was also in the news. I don't have the photos in front of me. He was at Wimbledon, I think, Lily, with a new lady friend smooching up there in the stands, wearing green too.
Yeah.
Well, he can't wear green. That means he's going to the Celtics, doesn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
I heard he hits his forehand with his wrong hand.
Oh boy.
Got it. Wrong hand joke.
Yeah, I saw a lot of jokes like he can't hit a three, but he shoots for tens or something like that. Very, very attractive woman. I don't know who it is, if she's a celebrity or not. Trey, any idea who she was?
I don't know.
Maya
I didn't know they were dating.
Yeah, she had a name that sounds famous, and I was like, well, she must be somebody famous. But who knows? We're old. All right, that's a little Is This News. Let's get to JD with Tweet of the Night.
Tweet of the Night. Wow.
Twitter.
It's really hard to find out who's singing the national anthem tonight. I've been searching since you guys were talking about it, and why do they keep it a secret, or is it just one of those nobody cares kind of thing?
Because it's going to be this guy, Alice Cooper.
Oh my God! Alice Cooper in a basketball jersey.
Yeah, I took the photo on my TV last week. Sorry to cut you off there, JD. I sent the video to my mother-in-law because Alice Cooper came up in conversation, and that same night he was performing at halftime. And he was giving it. Yeah, it's like a long, it's a 3/4 sleeve T-shirt that he's wearing. So he didn't wear a jersey, Trey, but he was giving it.
That's Campaign's
Cameron
number, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, it is.
She loves Campaign.
Yeah,
amazing.
Okay.
Cool.
Amazing. Anyways, getting to the tweet, it's actually from this morning, and it's from our very own Trey Kirby, who was responding to Darren Ravel, who posted this. This day in 1994, Forrest Gump hits theaters. And then Trey responded. It was a picture of Forrest when he's running during his running years. And Trey says, kind of didn't realize I'd become Forrest Gump. And I mean, the hat, when you're wearing a hat, you kind of do look like Forrest Gump. You do have a bit of a Hanksian vibe to you a little bit. So, anyways, I thought that was cool. But then this caught my attention in the same thread. Darren Ravel owns the Nike shirt that Tom Hanks wore during that scene and a pair of random khakis that Forrest Gump, I guess he wears a lot of khakis in the movie, but and that reminded me of the Mrs. Doubtfire stuff that went up last week.
Yeah.
And now I've got FOMO. I've seriously got FOMO. I want some movie memorabilia in our lives, on our set or something. There he is. There's Forrest.
I see it for sure.
Yeah.
The hair.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And on that first picture too, I noticed that he had like a polo shirt tucked into a pair of tiny shorts. I was like, this is eerily accurate. Man, I can't believe I look older than Forrest Gump right now. Honestly, a little bit of a bummer.
How old was Forrest Gump when he was running across the country?
That's a great
Yeah, it's pretty young.
I didn't think he was that old. Yeah.
Yeah.
You run like that, you got to be pretty young.
Right? Didn't he run across it like 4 times?
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah, I'd say 20. You look like a 20-year-old to me.
Hey,
20? Yeah, maybe.
Well, no, wasn't it after the army though? He came back from service. Yeah, he's got the bubble gum habit. Can you bring up what Ravel has there too, JD? Because if you look at the Nike shirt that Tom Hanks is wearing there, it looks dirty and sweaty.
Yeah.
But the white one looks like it's been washed. I mean, you don't want to wash that shirt if it's the legit one, do you? I mean, you want it in all its glory, all the sweaty, stinky, smelly, legit. You know, that makes it legit. Like otherwise, it's just a clean Nike T-shirt.
It is odd
you
that
want the
it's
Hanks stain.
clean.
you do, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great point. I mean, I'm, but let's peek behind the curtain. Tom Hanks didn't run across America, so they charted up it's fake dirt on this Nike shirt that he's wearing, and for some reason they wash it up. Darren, maybe check that certificate of authenticity because I don't know. Yeah, it looks way dirtier in this.
Yeah, that's how you want it. I mean, that you want it to look like, because the Mrs. Doubtfire boobs were like really burnt and singed.
They were gone.
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't want someone to repair those.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
That's all the glory there. What a good week it's been for Tom Hanks. I talked about Big on yesterday's show. And now talking about Forrest
Think we can
Gump.
keep the streak going tomorrow?
Yeah,
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, I got in a lot of shit for saying that Forrest Gump that I didn't like it last week too. So I'm worried about this Fast and Furious thing we're doing because a lot of people love the whole series, and so I'm gonna think of good things to say about all these movies, I guess. Okay. But oh my god, it's gonna be difficult.
All right, so the movie opens 1951, but we got a young Forrest.
Yeah.
Then in 1976 is when he starts running. So he's like anywhere from 25 to 30. Okay. You would have to think.
He runs for a lot of
I don't feel
years.
as bad now. I don't feel as bad looking 10 years older than Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
That's good. Got a few more rings around my trees.
I mean, he's also he's been running across the country for 4 years. He's very was he wearing sunscreen? I know he's got a hat on, but he's gonna
not in 76. No way in 76.
Definitely.
That's my next pick and payoff loss. I got to run across the country. If I lose, it's gonna be a long one.
All right. Well, I'm excited to see if we can keep our Tom Hanks streak going on tomorrow's show when we break down Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Is it weird that Game 1 of the NBA Finals is starting tonight and it's between the Bucks and the Suns to anybody else? It just doesn't feel like it at all to me that the finals is starting tonight. Hey, maybe when Alice Cooper starts playing the national anthem, I'll get into it. But right now, I don't know. I'm all discombobulated, Tass. It doesn't feel like it's Game 1 tonight of the finals.
I know. I got to go back to the old calendar. Let's talk dates again. If it was a Thursday night.
Yeah, maybe that's it. That bump up. Yeah.
Tuesday. This is crazy. Right now, we're supposed to be filling time. We're supposed to be filling it with odds and ends of the playoffs, news. Mm-hmm. Tom Hanks, perhaps.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're getting awful close to Lee counting down his top 10 Tom Hanks movies. There we go. What number 1? Philadelphia.
Philadelphia there.
Yeah, loves
that. Private Ryan's an interesting one. It's
save it, man. Save it. We got a lot of time off between these games. We're gonna need that as a segment. All right, we'll call it there, guys. Enjoy Game 1 of the NBA Finals tonight. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, live here on YouTube. Subscribe to No Dunks on YouTube if you haven't already. Smash that like button. Leave your comments below the video to help us defeat the algorithm. Get your questions in, NBA and non-NBA questions alike, to nodunks@theathletic.com. Subscribe to The Athletic. Go to theathletic.com/nodunks so they know that we sent you. And go grab your No Dunks merch over at nodunks.com. Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, the sloth picked the Suns. Do. The sloth picked the Suns. Yeah. And it's all wrong. Bucks and 6.
Oh, embrace the day, people.
You could stay, ooh, every day. And I'd be happy every minute.